No. No. Let's see here. Dungeons and Dragons. I'm stuck inside. You know, stuck inside for all my days. You know, I could do some D&Ds. Let's look up here. Dungeons and Dragons is lame? Is for nerds. Wow. Is overrated? Hell yeah, I want to report some shitty old searches. How dare you! I'm not going to throw my computer because it's very expensive. Hello, I am Will Filter. Well, I'm Will, and the channel's Will Filter. Filter. Dungeons & Dragons is a fantasy role-playing game, generally based in and around a medieval time period. So you might be thinking, I want to play some tabletop role-playing games, also known as that one game all the nerds from Stranger Things play in their basement. That's Dungeons & Dragons. And Dungeons & Dragons is one of the many games in this genre of tabletop role-playing games, where you and your friends, or whatever unlucky sods you got together, go through an epic quest of epic proportions. And then you end up making, you and your friends, a story where you as the DM, a referee who lays the lore of the lands, and them playing as the players, while you try and cramble together whatever you can out of the mess they leave of the world you built. In D&D, the only thing that limits you is the extent of your combined imagination. That, as well as your conflicting schedule arrangements. But don't you fret, I am here as your loyal will guy, I guess, to get you on the right path to beginning your journey into D&D. Now, as you might know, there are many genres and themes and settings you might want to explore in your various games. Maybe you want something of the horror variety with creeping, crawling monstrosities. Or maybe you want something of a detective story based in the 1920s with hard-boiled smoke addicts with lung cancers. Don't do it, kids. Or maybe you want to do the exact same thing in the future, except with vaping, because that's what cyberpunk is, and lights. Maybe a system that's just in space, or space fantasy. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you, man. It's your game. It's your game, man. So you get to the table, you find the rules, and you say, oh, easy, I can just tweak some things and then it'll work out. But then it doesn't, and you have to tweak a lot of things. But instead, hold your horses, good fellow, for there is more games than just D&D. As I said, D&D is one of many games that exist in this genre of tabletop role-playing games. Is it genre or category? I am here and I'm creating this series for you, your viewer, so you don't have to waste all your time trying to work out these systems, going into incorrect systems, so that you can play the games you want to play. But wait, you say, I've never played one of these games before. Problem is, they are very complicated, and jumping straight into it with no prior experience that's a bad idea. Just don't do it. But maybe with a guiding hand, you might be able to ease your way into some of these games with a very cooperative DM, a dungeon master, referee of the game, and some players who are all very friendly and willing to help you in your nebulous. Go along on your journey through the Nubis Nebulous. But maybe you don't have that. Maybe you just want to go and play that game. But the problem is, you'll get clogged up in many of the rules. Many of the rules. Not even the maths is hard, it's just really complicated. And there's a lot of reading to be done, and it can be a little bit rough. So here I am as the beginning of this series, the beginning of this channel, and to mark the beginning of the new beginnings of your journey through D&D, I have come up with this simple list of entry-level games. So without further ado, here is Will Filter's Beginning D&D. Going into this series, into this video. Into this video, I'm going to be splitting up into two sections, one about your standard fantasy hero adventure, and the other one about sci-fi. Why did I do it like that? But both of these games are super easy to pick up, amazing if you're beginning, and they're very quick to start. You won't have to worry about too many rules. You're generally adding together only 1 or 2 numbers, single digits most of the time. And they also have the advantage that as you keep playing, they will begin to slowly progress in complexity, adding more rules and more mechanics. But you'll slowly get better and more adaptable to complex mechanics. The reason why I'm only using 2 and I'm going fantasy and sci-fi is you can fit a lot of genres in there, and with these 2 games you can generally work around most genres and get into most things. Over in the left corner, or my left, your right, is D&D 5e. This is the one we're representing fantasy games and all of those fun times, I guess. And the other one we're going to be going is with a game called Stars Without Number, one you've probably not heard about. I believe Stars Without Number is in its 2nd edition currently. I may be wrong, I'll double check that. And D&D, which one is 5th edition. So if you want to skip to whatever part of the video for whatever game you want to be checking out, I'm going to put the time stamps down somewhere. And let us begin with D&D. D&D 5e. You've heard about it, you've come to play it, it's probably in the name of this video somewhere. It's probably what brought you here in the first place. If you want to be sitting down and playing a game in a fantasy setting with your wizards, swords, shields, and magic, lots of dungeon delving and dragon slaying, it is called Dungeons and Dragons, I guess, then this is your game. Otherwise, go to the other one. First, character creation only takes a few minutes. Really simple, really easy to do. And if you want an in-depth guide to what each of the classes is like, what's the feel of them, go to Joe Cat's Crap Guide to D&D. I might put the link in the description, I might not. Who knows? And that'll give you a really good rundown of many things like alignments as well as race-ish, and of class as well, which will probably be really helpful. It's also really funny, really engaging. It's just pretty cool. I like it a lot. Another one of the reasons is the Triforce. Hell yeah. Anyway, this is the 3 books which you need to run the game. You have these 3 books. You can run almost any game, any campaign. This will sort you out. The first one is the Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, as I said, the DM, Dungeon Master, GM, Game Master, whatever floats your boat. This guide will tell you how to run the game and give you heaps of advice that most people just go to Reddit for, and it's a really bad idea. Just look it up in the Dungeon Master's Guide. It's so much good stuff about running the game, random encounters, items, throw at your players for rewards, other rewards, things like land, things like money, things like titles, as well as a whole bunch of other general rules and tools for you to throw at your players and create this story of yours. The second book is the Player's Handbook. If you didn't realize, this is the one for the players. It gives you a basic list of classes, of subclasses for those classes, which are smaller classes in the classes, like a box in a box. It's like a little present. You first open the class, and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Then it's like, surprise! Now you're a bigger barbarian. Really good This is really good if you're a player, and it will give you all the things you need to know to play the game. It won't give you any of the information that you don't know, because the DM's guide has all the stuff that only the GM knows. This is just what you need to know, and with this you can pick it up, read it through if you want, or even just go through the character creation section, and this will outline, just clear up a whole lot of rules, and then really help you into the game. The third book is the Monster Manual, which gives you an extensive list of all the monsters and baddies you can throw at your players. And with these 3, you can basically run any campaign. Not only that, but if you're a starting person, you don't really know where to start, and maybe there's no games in your area, you just don't want to have the uncomfortable feeling of playing online through Roll20 or some other medium. That's okay, that's all good. You cool, fam. You cool. Shh. Then that's fine, but you can, as I said, it has heaps of resources. If you go online to Twitch or YouTube, you can find many people who are streaming it. If you think watching a game is the best way how you learn it, you can watch anything from Critical Role to Yogscast and that will give you a very good idea of how the games run and how it feels. And if you're really into that genre, one of the other advantages is the extensive material. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition has what's called the starter set, which has a game pre-written so you can just run it with your friends, called Lost Mines of Pandelver. It only has a little bit of Lost Mines of Pandelver, but you can buy the full book as a whole adventure which goes from 1 to 5, levels 1 to 5, which is about a quarter, like 25% of like character progression in this game. This gives you a really good idea of how NPCs work, how non-player characters, how the game is supposed to be run, what a campaign is like, what your players are looking for in the game, and gives you a really nice running start into one of these games. They also have heaps of other source materials. They have a gothic horror one, Curse of Strahd, a vampire hunting game, very good. They have even like a Mad Max Devil Through Hell run, which you only play for the cars, because everyone wants a Mad Max Fury Road car and plays a bunch of kobolds flying around in a car, like you're from Borderlands or something. But they have, just from those two very interesting games, they have entire things for extra if you're going into a sea campaign, sea games, seafaring, seamen. You have, just name it, they got it. You want an STD book? Go ahead. Not only that, on 5e Tools and on D&D Beyond, 2 online amazing sources, you can find all the rules, all the books, everything you need online, for free and for also money, because please pay them, please. To run one of these games, you'll just need 3 books, or even just 2 books online, looking up the bestiary, as well as 1 set of 7 dice. You'll find them in small boxes in any D&D store. You can also, any gaming store, you can also find them online. You can find these various dices throughout other types of gaming set. With this, it's a super easy game, amazing for you and your friends to get into, and as a starting point for fantasy, tabletop role-playing games, I would highly recommend this as your first encounter into this genre. Now for the game Stars Without Number. This is space D&D, and much like 5e, it works mostly off a D20 system, which is 20-sided dice. This is a really fun game. I played it once or twice, just a few times, so I'm not extensive in it, but I've read through a lot of the rules and the core rulebook, and it's a really good game to get into, and also very simple as far as space games go. If you want to go into a sci-fi setting, I would 100% recommend this. Character creation takes so little time, it's so good, it still has a lot of flexibility in it. It has a very clear, systematic way of working you through all your cast's skills and abilities. You've got your standard trio of skilled guy, fightery guy, mage / scion.
Dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
It's pretty simple, and it's very easy to pick up. It has less exposure than D&D 5e. It has, of course, because it just hasn't been around for as long. They're in their 2nd edition. D&D's in its 5th. Make sure you go for the most recent edition. As far as this video's release goes, who knows, you might be watching 20 years in the future. All this might be irrelevant. I might be dead, so might you be. Stars Without Number has everything you want from a sci-fi game. It has planets, it has a planet generator, which is just amazing for generating cultures. It has ships, star battles, lightsabers, laser swords, the ability to throw planets at Thanos things, I don't know, whatever the hell you want. And it is, as well as D&D, is very adaptable. There's some additional content I haven't gone through it at this point. I apologize, I can't advise you on that. It works with almost all sci-fi settings. I can see very few where it doesn't fit in. I would 100% recommend this if none of you have played before, or if you're a lot of new people. It is very good. You need to buy even less resources than last time. You still need a 7-sided die, the set of 7 dice, but you only need 1 book, which is the core rulebook for Stars Without Number. You can buy it, or you can even get a free version, I believe. still on Drive-Thru RPG, which is a website where you can get heaps of resources from all a bunch of different games. Put a link in the description. It even has mechs. Has mechs. So cool. But yeah, that is the my guide to if you're beginning tabletop role-playing games, D&D. There it is. If you want to be playing a fantasy game, go try out D&D 5e. If you want to try out a sci-fi one, go be a bunch of Wookiees in Stars Without Number. Anyway, that's me. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys make some amazing stories. If you, whatever game systems or genres or settings, maybe something like Harry Potter, or like maybe there's a book or a movie or a game series you want me to cover and give you some homebrew rules or a general system that basically works everything else together, chuck it down in the comments below. If I got anything wrong, you just hate my guts, I guess do that as well. Smack that like or dislike or however you feel like it. If you want to be like, good job, or just fuck you, then do so. And I'll see you guys next time. Yeah.